And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the DoDcast Postgame Show. A little late-night Nats action if you're on the East Coast. We thank you for staying up with us tonight as the Nationals beat the Angels 4-3. They've now won 6 straight games. They're 5-0 since the All-Star break. The new bullpen was out in force tonight. Ryan Madson and Sean Doolittle both getting to the game. Great performance by Edwin Jackson. I think that surprised everybody tonight. And Bryce Harper, 4 for 4. Trying to show off to Mike Trout, saying, I'm better than you, and I want to prove it. And Bryce had another great game. His hit streak continues to get higher. Anthony Rendon's hit streak is higher. This team's been really impressive since the break. You could tell at the end of the All-Star break how tired this team was. They got the rest they needed, and it's paid off. Now, they played teams like the Reds and the Angels, so you take for that what it's worth, but a win's a win. And the Nats are just taking care of business, and they're being very impressive doing that. So 6 straight wins. They're going to likely add another game into their NL East lead. Thought Ryan Madson looked really good. Doolittle ran a little bit of trouble, a little bit of erratic command, and that can come from being a little bit amped up. He wants to make a good first impression. He's definitely, him and his wife have made a good impression on Twitter so far. But he got the outs he needed. He got Trout to ground out and then got Pujols to fly out to left. And those are the 2 guys you have to get out when you're facing the Angels. And they found a way to win. But we want to get you involved. You're up with us. Please feel free to come into the chat room here on the YouTube channel. Also, tweet me on Twitter at District on Deck or at Rickinator555. We got a lot to get tonight. A lot of big trades around baseball, so we'll talk about those as well. And what the Nationals might do between now and the deadline. The deadline is still 13 days away, and there's been so many trades happening. We might run out of trades by the time the deadline gets here. Let's look at the totals to start us off. Nationals with 4 runs, 12 hits, 1 error. That was a Wilmer Difo error. Wilmer Defoe, I should say. I always take Difo and I didn't get it right. It's his 5th error of the season. Angels get 3 runs on 4 hits, 2 of those being home runs. No errors. Edwin Jackson gets the win. 7 innings, 2 runs, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts. Didn't walk anybody. Cam Bedrosian gets the loss, gave up the 1 run in the 8th inning. And Sean Doolittle gets his 4th save of the season and his first in a Curly W uniform. And I thought the story of this game to start it off was defense. There were so many great defensive plays in this game. You had former Nat Escobar making a couple of nice catches. I think it was the 3rd inning. Brian Goodwin took a hit away from Mike Trout with a diving catch. Bryce Harper took a hit from Pujols. After that, I think it was the 7th inning, which got Jackson through that quick inning there to end his night. Ryan Zimmerman made a nice play at first base. There's just great defensive plays all around the field tonight from both teams. And it's great when you could see, especially a late-night game, you want those quick defensive plays. And I would have never expected a Edwin Jackson, Jesse Chavez pitcher's duel, but that's what we got tonight. I didn't like the Nats' approach against Chavez early. They were swinging early in the count, not taking many pitches. But you can also attribute that to, they played a 12:30 game the day before. You could tell they were swinging early yesterday just to get out of there. And then today kind of maybe feeling the effects of it a little bit. And that can happen. I mean, they're human. Daniel Murphy hasn't looked great last couple of games, but it's only 2 games. You want Daniel Murphy right when it matters. Everybody can slump once in a while. Let me get the thoughts here from Judo Joker. Doolittle could have intentionally walked Trout or Pujols. He didn't. He got both of them out and got better as he pitched against them. And Madson looked incredible. Let me address the Doolittle point. I didn't mind him not walking Trout with 2nd and 3rd, only because Trout has good numbers against him. You look at the numbers, 3 for 6 with a home run, but Albert Pujols is also 3 for 7 with a home run. So he's not exactly getting in a favorable matchup either way. You can make the case, Judo, that if you walk Pujols, you get to Escobar, but you don't want to put the winning run on base. So I like that. I like the intensity he brings. Definitely, it's a good sign. You can make the case that Nats are still a reliever short. But Doolittle, for now, I think is going to help, and they'll flip-flop, I would think, between him and Madson for closer. Madson I really liked. He was throwing 97, 98 in that 8th inning. That's not something I'm used to seeing from Ryan Madson. It was just impressive. I mean, he's a tall guy. Both these guys coming in and looking to help this team out. They know how important they are. And you could tell, I think Dan Coco tweeted it, that the clubhouse was ecstatic after that 8th inning because they know what those 2 guys will do to this team. So I was very impressed with Doolittle and Madson. But the guy I liked most, I'm going to give my MVP to tonight, You can give it to Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper wins MVP most nights of the season. How about Edwin Jackson? I mean, he deserved the chance to get a call up from AAA. He's pitching so good at Syracuse. You had to give him an opportunity. He goes out there tonight and was really good. He gave up the home run to Mike Trout in the first inning. Shouldn't have threw a 3-1 pitch in the strike zone, but you take a chance, and Trout made him pay for it because he's that good of a hitter. But he gets the next 13 in a row. Gives up a solo shot to Martin Maldonado down the left field line, but really besides that, he was really good tonight. He was getting that fastball up to 96 miles an hour, using the slider well, and he's really mainly a two-pitch guy. You'll hear my interview tomorrow with Kevin Brown, who's the Syracuse announcer who got to call some of Edwin Jackson starts, and Kevin was talking with Edwin about how he throws the kitchen sink. That's what Edwin told Kevin. You kind of saw a little bit of that tonight. He had a good job, I thought, mixing his pitches. You look at his line total, 91 pitches, 57 strikes. So not a big strike total, but he didn't walk anybody either. I thought that was a good sign. I'm usually going to check to see the first pitch strike totals. He had a lot of 3-ball counts early, 12 first pitch strikes and 23, so about half. Did have a lot of loud outs too, so defense helped him out. A lot of balls hit to the track. But considering what the fifth starter spot has been this year, a lot of inconsistency from Joe Ross, who hopefully has a successful Tommy John surgery tomorrow. But I think you got to give Edwin Jackson that first crack. And if he pitches well for 3 weeks, a month, and at least is the placeholder until Eric Fetty is ready to pitch, you'll take it. I mean, the Nats really only need about 10-plus starts from that fifth spot. So if Jackson gives you 4 or 5 good ones, you take it and you run, because this offense can score a lot of runs and give Jackson a win when he gives up, let's say, 4 runs over 6. So you don't need him to pitch like this every night, but you'll take it. It's an added bonus. And I was very impressed with his stuff today. First time he threw 7 innings, even in the minors this year, he hadn't thrown 7 innings. So to get that from him, Dusty had to be thrilled, and I think the team had to be thrilled as well. Yeah, Judah, I'm kind of pumped after this game, too. It's a real exciting ball game tonight. And how about Bryce Harper? You think about that if he beats that throw to second base in the 3rd inning, and you can make the case whether he was safe or not, it was a really tough call. He would have had a cycle tonight. Would have been the 2nd cycle by the Nats this season. You're lucky if a team gets 1 cycle during the year, and Harper was close to making it 2. He started off the night, hit a home run in the 1st inning off of Chavez. Looked like a quick 1st inning when the Nats only had 4 pitches the first 2 batters, and Harper crushed a 2-seamer to dead center for his 24th of the season. Hit streak now up to 13 games. He had the single in the 3rd. They tried to stretch to a double, but got thrown out. Base hit in the 6th. And then the big triple to lead off the 8th inning against Cam Bedrosian to get the win, to at least get on base. And Ryan Zimmerman picks up the game-winning base hit in the 8th inning to give the Nats the win. And you could tell Harper plays with a different intensity. I mean, you saw it yesterday trying to stretch a single to a double against Cincinnati, but the Nats were up by 4 runs then. I'm not sure if you like it there with 2 outs and a tie game in the 3rd, but you take a chance. Ben Revere, who was in for the injured Cameron Maben, hopefully he's okay. Revere makes the throw to second. You test his arm. Revere doesn't have the best throwing arm in the world, so I don't blame him for trying it, but I don't know if it was the right situation to do it. I think I saw, hey, what's up, Al? And yeah, Hanley with a walk-off tonight for the Red Sox. That game went 15 innings, but the Red Sox, I'm sure, we'll talk about their night, probably not as great in a little bit. I know Ron's not here either, so I'm trying not to gloat, but we'll get into why I'm not trying to gloat a little bit. 7th inning, Anthony Rendon down 2-1. You're hoping Edwin Jackson doesn't get a loss, and Rendon crushes one to left field, his 20th of the season. Remember, his career high is 21 home runs. He's going to break that this year. He's got a 12-game hitting streak. He was like 20 for his last 41. And for my money, I don't know where Rendon is in the MVP race right now, but he's got to be pretty close. I mean, this team's got so many MVP candidates. It's tough to distinguish, but Rendon just is very consistent. Not a lot of guys, he doesn't hype himself up, but he just delivers. And it's so much fun to watch how this guy just produces every single day out of the 6th spot. I mean, eventually, Dusty maybe thinks about moving him up to the top, but why change things? He's still there. So Rendon comes up with a huge hit in the 7th. We talked about Zim's single in the 8th, and then Adam Lynn. I know people might not like the DH. DHs are cool. I mean, I'm American. I like an American League team when I'm not covering the Nats. So I'm a fan of the DH. I'm not a huge fan of pitchers hitting, and Adam Lynn kind of shows why. You get his bat in the lineup, you take it. He crushed it, the solo shot to dead center in the 9th off Kenyon Middleton, which ended up being the difference. They needed that home run to get the win to get that 4th run because the Angels threatened in the 9th. You had the C.J. Cron walk. Cole Calhoun picks up a double. Ben Revere doesn't score on the play, and Bryce Harper with a cannon to get that ball home to prevent Revere from trying to score. So that led to the Mike Trout ground out, and then Pujols flew out to end the ball game. But again, we liked Madsen. We liked Doolittle. A lot of good stuff going on from both of those guys. So all in all, I think a lot of positives to take from this ball game. You had, again, Harper the 4th, Rendon 2 for 4. He's up to 320 in the batting average. Lynn 3 for 4, hitting 331. Wieters is 2 for 4. He's at 249. Harper's first triple of the season. We mentioned Harper's 24th of the year. He's up to 73 RBIs. Rendon now up to 64 RBIs. Zimmerman has 65. And Lynn with 32 as a bench player. Really good. So they didn't see the ball well against Chavez, but they did enough to get him out of the game into the 7th. Getting that Angels bullpen, which is not the greatest. They do have Yusmeiro Petit in there, so I wonder if we'll see him tomorrow. Their closer is Bud Norris. Tells you what the Angels bullpen is. But I like this game overall from the Nationals. Judo says, I don't mind pitchers hitting because the Nats pitchers can actually hit, so I'll take the easy outs for us. You're lucky with the Nats pitchers because they can hit. I mean, Scherzer's a decent hitter for a pitcher. Strasburg had a home run this year. Gio has picked up a couple RBIs. Joe Ross, when he was healthy, can hit. So you kind of, but I just like that. I don't like the whole walking the 8-hitter gets the 9-hitter thing. It's just, it's always fun to watch Bartolo Colon hit. Unfortunately, he's in the American League now, so you can't watch Bartolo Colon hit. But other than that, I'm not really a big fan of pitchers hitting. That's just my take. You can disagree with me if you want. I understand that. Everybody's taste is different. It's just not my thing. The other big news around the Nationals today revolves around Jason Worth and his injuries. We know by now, not exactly healing as well as anybody would have liked it to. He actually told the media today how he's got a fracture, has a broken bone in his foot, still has the bruise. Now, he hasn't ran, but he did take BP today, so that's a good thing, but obviously, I think we all knew it wasn't just a bone bruise because it took Jason Worth so long to come back, and he's going to be out a little while longer. But with this big lead the Nationals have in the division, they can take their time. I mean, Brian Goodwin's playing well. Ryan Rayburn has done a nice job. Better at-bats from Chris Heisey lately. You can always throw Adam Lind out there if you need to. So I don't think there's a rush for Worth to come back. I mean, Michael Taylor, who knows when he'll be back, but hopefully he's starting to do baseball activities, and hopefully he'll be better soon. So I wouldn't even rush Jason Worth. I think you need him for the postseason. I think that's a huge plus. I mean, these are the kind of times where maybe you give Jason Worth that rest and he's rejuvenated going forward when he comes back. So I would take it easy with Worth and see what happens. But I like what the Nats have in terms of outfield depth at the moment because the guys are playing well. I mean, give them credit. This bench has stepped up and done a lot of good things for this baseball team. All right, so let's take a look around the division. We'll also talk about some big trades. Everything's gone final tonight. Let's start with in Miami. The Phillies beat the Marlins 5-2. But Nick Williams done a nice job since being called up. He had a couple RBIs. Cam Perkins a couple runs batted in. Michael Franco a solo shot in the 8th. Phillies were tied, and then Franco won it in the 8th inning with a solo shot. Pat Neshek got the win in relief, popular trade target. Went a scoreless inning. Vince Velasquez went 6 innings for Philadelphia. Dustin McGowan took the loss for the Marlins. Giancarlo Stanton just keeps crushing homers. He is 29th of the season. And you wonder with the Marlins' whole sales situation, how long Stanton will be there. But he has been on fire lately. Out in Citi Field, the Cardinals beat the Mets 5-0. Shutout performance by Michael Wacha, who was excellent in this game. Complete game 3-hitter. He struck out 8. Rafael Montero, not a bad game. Gave 2 earned runs over 6 innings, but the Cardinals just too much. Jed Jorko had an RBI. Matt Carpenter went 4 for 5 with the run batted in. St. Louis has won back-to-back games. Waka picking up his 7th win of the season. And a game that just went final because it didn't start till 10 o'clock because of the rain. Yes, it did rain in Atlanta. There was no fake rain in this one. The Cubs won 5-1 over the Braves. Cubs are on fire. They've won 5 in a row. John Lackey picked up the win in home runs for Javi Baez and Wilson Contreras. And with Milwaukee losing to Pittsburgh, the Cubs are now 2.5 games behind in the Central. So they're starting to rally, and that's a team I don't think you want to see in the NLDS if you're the Nationals, because they got Quintana now. I think they've got a good rotation. Their offense is starting to catch fire, and I think they might add to that bullpen behind in front of Wade Davis. So that, I think, would mean your urgency for the Nationals. You have better leverage than you did before, but I think you need another reliever. You don't now. David Robertson's off the board, and that's going to make a lot of fans happy. The big news tonight: David Robertson was traded to the Yankees along with Tommy Canley and Todd Frazier for one of the Yankees' top prospects, Blake Rutherford, Ian Clarkin, Tito Polo, and Tyler Clippard. A lot of people thought the Red Sox were going to get Todd Frazier. It turned out the Yankees did. They'll use him a little bit at third and first, and the Yankees now have a super bullpen with Robertson, Betances, Chapman. That is a really good 7-8-9 combination. They have to add another starter. I think they're going to get one. Brian Cashman did a good thing. And Rick Hahn, I keep telling you, Rick Hahn's a prospect wizard. You don't want to deal with Rick Hahn because now he gets Blake Rutherford added to Eloy Jimenez, who he's got. They're calling up Yohan Moncada tomorrow. So Rick Hahn does it again. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's got more trades up his sleeve. So a heck of a job by Rick Hahn. I think the Yankees got better in the process. Also, the big trade that the Nats will see this weekend, JD Martinez goes to the Diamondbacks for 3 prospects. Martinez really good against lefties. Gio's not pitching against Arizona in this series. So that's a good thing on the national side. But you add JD Martinez to that lineup. Chris Lacey, one of our writers, is happy. He's going to do the Nats Diamondbacks. It's 5 to watch for us this week, so you can check that out later on in the week. But I think Arizona got a little bit better, and they're right in the mix right now, leading that first wild card spot. As for the NL East update, the Nats are 11.5 ahead of Atlanta in the National League East. Other scores to catch up on tonight. Clayton Kershaw does it again. I'm telling you, I know Max Scherzer's had a fantastic season. I kind of wish you could give a co-Cy Young this year. But Clayton Kershaw, my goodness, 7 innings, 7 hits, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. He's now 15-2 with a 2.07. He's just been fantastic. Dodgers have won 10 straight. They've won 30 out of 34. I'm telling you, that you have to now think, do the Nats have enough to beat the Dodgers? Because I think right now they're the prohibitive favorite in the National League. You have to now, I think, stack yourself up with LA and see, can you beat this team? That's where I think adding another reliever will help. And maybe Mike Rizzo can do that without giving up a Victor Robles or somebody like that. I thought they made out great with the Doolittle Madsen deal, not giving up too much. Noisy and Luzardo are good prospects, but ones you won't see for 3-4 years. So I think that's not a bad idea to make that trade. And so far through one night, it paid off. So good things all around. But I think LA is the team to beat, and we'll see if the Dodgers don't come to DC until September. So I got a long way to go for that. Let's talk about tomorrow's pitching matchup before we look at the minor league schedule. I believe this is a double game tomorrow. You can catch it on ESPN. I believe it's Dave Fleming, Rick Sutcliffe, and David Ross in the call, or on Masson too for Bob and FP. Gio Gonzalez takes the ball for the Nats. Gio 8-4, the 2.66 ERA against Alex Meyer for the Angels. Meyer 3-5 with a 4.18. And the name Alex Meyer might be familiar to you. He used to be one of the Nationals' top prospects a few years ago. Was traded away to Minnesota for Denard Span. I think the Nats got a better end of that deal because Meyer has not panned out what people would have expected. Span had a couple good years in DC in the center fielder. A lot of fans were sad to see him go when he signed with San Francisco. But he had a lot of injuries that last year in DC. But Meyer will look to try to maybe impress his former organization, but Gio Gonzalez has been fantastic. 8 1/3 shutout innings against Cincinnati on Friday. He looks more confident. He looks more consistent. And now he's a guy you rely on. He's gone from being that question mark, like what Tanner Roark is now, to being that reliable left-handed starting pitcher. You definitely need those, especially when you get into September and October. So you look at what Gio's done right now. The last time he gave up more than 3 runs in an outing, you have to go back to May 19th in Atlanta. So that's a total, as I get the numbers here, it's a total of 10 starts. He's not given up more than 3 runs in 10 straight starts. That's what I call consistency, and that's something we've been waiting from Gio. And Matt Wieters has helped him out, and he's done a good job with the pace. So we'll see how he does against the Angels. Obviously, he's familiar with the AL West from his time in Oakland. Ben Revere hitting 400 against him. Andrelton Simmons has a home run, and he shut down Mike Trout. Look at Trout's numbers. 1 for 11 with 6 Ks. So maybe they found the Mike Trout neutralizer in Gio Gonzalez. That should be a fun ball game tomorrow night. I believe Ron is with you for the tweeting. Drew is with you for the postgame. Now, we have not decided who gets the win officially or the loss. Does Ron get it or does Drew get it? We'll have to figure that one out in our collective standings. Judo says an Ash can definitely beat the Dodgers, especially once I'm trying to figure out the openers are back. Doesn't mean they will. They almost everything need to beat them. They did beat them 2 out of 3 earlier this year. To your point, Judo, I don't think it's impossible to beat LA. But you got number 22 there. And number 22 has done a nice job beating the Nats in his career. So I think that's definitely a mental hurdle they have to get over. But I like their offense against the Dodgers offense. I just think you're watching LA right now, and you got to hope they don't get Zach Britton. Because if they get Zach Britton and you pair McKinley Jansen, that's as tough an 8-9 combo as there is in baseball. So that would be something I would monitor. But I think that's pitching outside of Kershaw stacks up well with LA. So I think if that ended up being the NLCS, I think it would be really competitive. But you got a long way to go. And, of course, as I mentioned, the Cubs are the team you watch for in that Central. Unless Milwaukee goes out there and trades for Sonny Gray, I think the Cubs are going to win the division if that does not happen. But a lot of baseball left. That's why we play the games. The Nationals right now in prime form at 57-36. Just have a fantastic season. Let's go around the minor leagues, look at some scores. Syracuse lost tonight in Louisville 5-1. Louisville's the Reds affiliate. No RBIs from this game for the Chiefs. Only 5 hits total. Greg Ross took the loss. 5 runs, 10 hits over 6 in the third. He struck out 4. Eric Fetty is going to throw for the Chiefs tomorrow. It'll be his 4th start. So we'll keep a close eye on that one for you. If I'm around, I'll try to tweet some of that for you because I've been tracking a lot of Eric Fetty starts. Just trying to get a better read on him. I thought he looked good. His last game against Pawtucket got a lot more ground outs, a lot more change-ups. So we'll see if there's continual improvement. Obviously, he'll keep throwing more pitches as well. Hasn't thrown past 4 innings yet. Harrisburg with a nice comeback. They were down 7-2 going to the 7th inning, and they rallied to beat Altoona 9-7. Dan Gamache with 3 more hits. He's been great since signing with the Nationals, the minor league free agent. 3 hits for Corbin Joseph as well. The Harrisburg bullpen between Philip Valdez and Brady Dragmeyer, 6 combined innings with 3 hits. Dragmeyer did walk 3, but he got the win to go 2-1. Potomac beat Wilmington 7-3. The Peanuts got 3 in the first inning and did not look back. Victor Robles, a 2-for-5 night with a triple. Taylor Gashu, a solo shot, his 15th in the season. And David Masters, a solo shot in the 8th, his 6th of the year. Luis Reyes got the win, 5 innings, 2 runs, 8 hits, 5 strikeouts, and walked 3. Hagerstown gets the night off. They will play at Charleston tomorrow, and no Blake Rutherford for Charleston because he just got traded, and they got no hit against Lakewood yesterday. So maybe the good time for Hagerstown to play Charleston. Auburn lost a tough one to West Virginia, 7-6 in 11 innings. Jake Barnett took the loss, and he's a draft pick from 2016 who had not lost a game, giving up a run his professional career. Ends up giving up a run in the 11th, and that was the difference in this one. Jake Scudder, a solo shot. How about a good night for him? 4-for-5, 2-run shot action in the 8th. He went 4-for-5. Cameron Estee, the right fielder, 3-for-6 with a couple of doubles as well. So the Double Days who rallied to tie in the 9th fall short in the 11th. And the GCL Nats got postponed against the Marlins. GCL Nats are 12-5 this year. So a lot to be excited about, at least on that front. Judo Joker says season openers. Yeah, that's true. Is it confirmed that Eaton is out all year? Is there a chance to be back for the playoffs? I would not put my hopes up on Eaton being back. I mean, if you get him back, that's a great bonus, but not everybody's Kyle Schwarber. I think we were kind of spoiled by how great he came back last year and was really good in the World Series. But I'm not going in expecting Eaton to come back. And if he does, great. I'm not expecting it. It's a serious injury that he had. You just hope he's better for spring training next year, because he's going to be a key at some point, whether it be in center field or the corners. They need Eaton to be healthy, because you saw when he was healthy, it was a dynamic offense, and it's still dynamic now, but it's just added another dimension to how great they were. So let's talk about what we have on the site. We got a lot of cool stuff on the site today. We only have one thing on the site today. Drew gave his 3 to watch for the series against the Angels. Now, normally we do 5, but because it was a 2-game set, remember the Angels come to D.C. for 2 next month, we went with 3. So you get a little abbreviated preview, but Drew did that for you. He's got another cool article tomorrow going up. Sports Illustrated, their Fashionable 50, which is their 50 most fashionable athletes. You find out where Bryce Harper is on that list. So Drew wrote that up. He's our baseball lifestyle insider, if you will. Ron's got a piece up, I believe, on Ryan Zimmerman tomorrow, where he stands in Nats history. And you'll catch my interview with Kevin Brown, who is the play-by-play voice of the Syracuse Chiefs. He got a chance to call a Nationals game in May when Charlie Slows had to take off due to one of his kids graduating. So Kevin will tell that story about how he found out about the job and what that experience was like. I'm telling you, I talked with Kevin for a good half hour, and I enjoyed it, and I learned a lot, and I think you'll learn a lot too. We put these mid-season minor league reviews together for you guys so you can learn a little bit more, and I learned a little bit more too about all these prospects in the process. We'll try to do one with Auburn when their All-Star game comes around, learn more about some of the draft picks and some of the new players in the organization. So we had a lot of fun putting those together. Syracuse is our last full season one. So you definitely want to see that and enjoy it. And Judo, you're right. I do think Taylor's been really good as the stand-in center fielder. And hopefully he's back soon. So all in all, Bryce Harper 4 for 4. Incredible night for him. His hit streak is at 13. Rondon's hit streak is at 12. Edwin Jackson, above and beyond tonight, was fantastic. 2 solo shots, but that's it. And fastball's up to 96. And Madsen getting it to 98 in the 8th inning. And then Doolittle, a little bit of nerves there and a little bit of adrenaline, but he got the job done. And I already like the personality he brings to the table. So you got to see the new bullpen. And the new bullpen, I don't think disappointed. You can make the case, yeah, Doolittle disappointed a little bit, but all in all, he got the save, and that's all that matters. So, again, Ron will be with you for the tweeting tomorrow. Drew will be with you for the post game. And then I'll be back with you on Friday night in Arizona when Max Scherzer is on the mound again. It's always fun when Scherzer takes the mound against his former team. And Arizona's lineup is going to be really tough. I'm expecting a really good series at Chase Field. Could be a playoff preview depending on if some things break right. The Nats did take 2 or 3 from Arizona earlier this year. So that's another test. I mean, you got, after tomorrow, Arizona, Milwaukee, and Colorado. 3 good teams the Nationals have to go through. And always a good test, especially when they have this big 11.5 game lead in the East. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. So for all of our District on Deck team, and let me get one more comment. And if Trine was in that situation, he would not have kept this cool. I just think on Trine, he just was not a 9th inning guy to me. You saw that clearly. I think he'll do great. I wrote about this yesterday. I think he'll do great in Oakland. I think if you put him in the right role, I think what Dusty struggled with was finding a role for him, and I think he's actually going to do good in Oakland. Whether it's being the 7th inning guy, 8th inning guy, to whoever the closer is there. It's Casilla right now. But I think he'll be okay. I think all Nats fans need to wish him the best. And hopefully he has a great – remember, he got drafted by the A's. So they know him just as well as the Nationals do. Maybe a little less, but they know him well. So for all of us District on Deck, I'm Ricky Keeler saying hope you have a great rest of your day because it's morning here in the East Coast. And again, we'll be back with you tomorrow night as the Nats go for the mini sweep with Gio against Alex Meyer. Until then, enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.